Hi everyone, this is Monique with VGAnetwork.com, and today we're going to discuss installing Active Directory on Windows Server 2012 R2. Right here, as you can see on my screen, this is a 2012 R2 server installed on VMware Workstation 10. So the first thing we want to go ahead and do is go to Manage. Then we want to go ahead and choose Add Roles and Features. Okay, first it'll pop up this wonderful GUI at you saying, hey, before you can begin, please read me. Make sure your administrator account has a strong password, network settings, etc. completed. Go ahead and choose next. Here you'll be presented with select the installation type. You'll be configuring a role-based or feature-based installation. So go ahead and choose next. The next thing you want to go ahead and choose your server and the IP address, which is the server I named was Kitty Power, and then go ahead and choose next. And then here, what you want to go ahead and do is go ahead and review all of the different roles. But the first thing you want to go ahead and click on is the Active Directory Domain Services. And here you'll be presented as, if you add this role, you need to add all of these additional features, which is your remote server administrative tools, Active Directory domain services, and the lightweight directory services, and so forth. So go ahead and choose Add Features. And then you want to go ahead and choose DNS server, since in this demo we'll be making the domain controller a DNS server as well. Best practice, you usually want to go ahead and keep DNS server on its own server. You really don't want to have it on a domain server controller. Go ahead and choose Add Features, and then go ahead and choose Next. And here you'll be presented with additional features that was showed to you in the server roles, which will be added. Group policy management, remote server administrative tools, user interface and infrastructure, PowerShell, etc. So just review some of these features. Make sure you don't need any. So example, multipath input output. Say you have a backend SAN and maybe this particular server has a dual HBA associated to the server. Maybe you have two of those paths going to maybe one of your fiber channel brocade switches and so forth. So you want to go ahead and maybe enable this. But that was just an example. We won't be doing it in this demo. So go ahead and choose Next. Here it'll just show you basically a summary of things to know for Active Directory domain services. So go ahead and review this piece of information and then go ahead and choose Next. Since you'll be adding the DNS role, it'll also give you a summary of the DNS role. So go ahead and review the summary information here and then choose Next. And here, it just basically shows you a summary of everything that you'll be implementing on this particular domain controller, which is your Active Directory domain services, DNS server, group policy management, and all the additional features such as the, remote server administrative tools and so forth. So go ahead and choose Install. And this will take a few minutes, so I'll go ahead and pause this recording for now. Okay everyone, welcome back. As you can see that the configuration has completed, and here you can see that the installation is seated on Kitty Power, which is my server name, and under here you can see Active Directory Domain Services. Additional steps are required to make this machine a domain controller. So you want to go ahead and click this link which states, hey, promote this server to a domain controller. So we'll go ahead and do that and give it a few minutes. So here you'll be presented with the deployment configuration. Select the deployment operation, add a domain controller to an existing domain, add a new domain to an existing forest, add a forest. Here we're actually going to go ahead and add a forest, since this will be our first forest and domain controller. So here you specify your root domain name. So if your company, obviously you'll name it after your company. In this example, I'm going to go ahead and choose awesomesauce.com. So go ahead and choose your root domain name and click next. And here you'll see the force functional level and domain functional level. In every environment, it's different. It could be 2003, 2008 force functional level and domain functional level, and they can vary depending on the current environment. But here in this example, we'll be utilizing Windows Server 2012 R2 force functional level and a domain functional level, Windows Server 2012 R2. If you're a systems administrator or an engineer for a particular company, at some point you will be presented with a, hey, we want to go ahead and raise our domain functional level to so and so, or we need to raise the force functional level, or maybe you acquire a company and that company is still running Windows NT. How are you going to go ahead and integrate that company into your own AD infrastructure? So, some point along your career, you will run into that problem. So here you'll see additional specifications, specify domain controller capabilities, domain name system, DNS server, global catalog, and so forth. Here you want to go ahead and type the directory services restore mode DRM password. Make sure that it is secure, and if you have some kind of password database, make sure that it is noted in your password database or keep it in a secure location somewhere that it won't get lost. And once that's done, go ahead and choose next. And here you'll be presented with specifying, DNS. Go ahead and choose next. Here this will just verify the NetBIOS name assigned to the domain and change it if necessary. And it'll go through this configuration wizard. So here it recognizes that awesome sauce was what you provided in your force root name and that it is unique. So go ahead and choose next. Here you want to go ahead and specify the location of your Active Directory domain services database log files in sysvol. In this example, we're just going to go ahead and install all on the local C drive. However, best practice would actually be to split every single one of these drives apart. You'd want to go ahead and have a database on, say, one drive. We could give an example of the K drive. You want to go ahead and have your log files on another drive and your sysvol folder on a different drive, just because of high availability. So at least maybe for some reason your database folder gets corrupted, at least you still have the log files in your sysvol folder and you can just restore the database. Whereas if all three of these were to crash on a single volume, that means you're restoring all three of these particular functions, and you really just don't want to do that. So in this example, we'll just be installing it on a single drive. However, best practice, make sure they're separated on different volumes. So go ahead and choose next. Here, this basically gives you a summary of the specifications that you made within the deployment wizard GUI. These can also be exported into a PowerShell script. So let's just say, hey, maybe you want to create another, forest. You can go ahead and do that. Next time, let's say you already have your forest created and you just want to go ahead and, create another domain controller. You can go ahead and just export that script on adding in an additional domain controller into the environment. So let's go ahead and choose next. Notes and make notes of any warnings that you do see, and go ahead and choose install. Now here you can see the progress, view detailed operation results, and you can see that it's starting. This will take a while, so I'm going to go ahead and pause this recording and resume it once it has fully completed. Welcome back, everyone. So it finished installing and it will require a reboot after installing. So as you can see, my server has rebooted, and once you go ahead and restart, you'll notice that, hey, you have your domain, which is awesome sauce. And then you can see that's my admin account. So let's go ahead and log in. wait for Server Manager to load up. And here you can go ahead and go to your tools. And what you'll see under your tools is all of the different Active Directory administrative centers, domains and trusts, sites and services, ADUC, Active Directory users and computers, and you also saw our DNS under there too. So let's go ahead and open up Active Directory sites. And here on the side you can see your additional roles, your Active Directory domain services, and your DNS. So here we went ahead and opened up Active Directory sites and services. And under the sites you can go ahead and specify your site name, and then you'll be able to see the servers under here, which is our kitty power for domain controller. And you can go ahead and right click and choose properties and give it a description, location, you can see the object, security, your enterprise admin, domain admins, and so forth. So you want to go ahead and change this for site name. You can see any additional subnets if you want to add it, and inner site transports and so forth. You can also see forest trusts here too. So let's say you have another company, you want to go ahead and create an external forest trust. You can also view that here. So thank you for watching this video of how to install Active Directory domain services and creating your first forest and your first domain controller. Please go ahead and check out my additional videos on vganetwork.com, and thanks everyone for watching this video.